Hello guys and welcome back to Learning Forensic Science with Anshul Kapoor. Today we are doing something interesting. We are about to witness an autopsy. Autopsy came from actually a Greek word autopsia, which means to see from one's own eye. Autopsy, as some people may also call postmortem, is actually the examination of a dead individual when the death occurred under suspicious circumstances, in order to reconstruct what was the cause of death, what was the manner of death, was it a suicidal death, was it a homicidal death, was it an accidental death, or was it a natural death. Also to reconstruct what was the time since death, how long ago the person died, and also to know about the mode of death, which involves the examination to know which organ system actually failed that lead to the death of that person. Well, these are all the technical details that we will be talking about in our future videos, but today what I have done is I have taken a clip from the series Asur, if you know, and in that series Asur they are performing an autopsy for some skeletonized human remains. They are conducting autopsy for a human body where the face is completely decomposed. Let us see what all they can capture from some skeletonized remains. Let us see how they perform it and what all we can learn from it. 3rd March 2018. With the special permission of the Investigation Authority, this autopsy is being conducted in the night. An illumination of 80,000 lux was metered at the time of procedure. Autopsy is being conducted by Dr. Dhananjay Rajput in the presence of Senior Scientific Officer Nusrat Saeed and Forensic Photographer Sandeep. The very first things first, the Senior Scientific Officer here, Nusrat, clearly mentioned about the date and the time at which they are conducting the autopsy. The place is also mentioned actually. It is very important to mention these parameters along with the name or the initials of the doctors and the staff who is conducting the autopsy, because it is a part of a chain of custody. Chain of custody is actually a chronological sequence which records whoever person came in contact with the evidence, and body is also a evidence and rather the most important one. Do not forget that. Right? So, chain of custody ensures the integrity of evidence in the court of law, and it is very important to mention about each and every person along with the date and time, place, whoever came in contact with the evidence. Right? Also, one thing to be noted here, it is not advised to take any consumables in the vicinity or in the area where the evidences are being handled or are being analyzed, collected, because it somehow hampers the integrity of the evidence and it can contaminate our evidence at certain level. As you saw, it was clearly mentioned that with the help of special permissions they are conducting this autopsy at night. Why is it so? Why did they had to take a special permission? Because autopsy is meant to be conducted during the daylight, because in the daylight the colors can be perceived with much more accuracy than they are perceived at night. Why are colors so important here? It is because several poisons in our body can actually produce some color or can actually discolorate some organs, which can lead our path, which can guide us in determining the cause of death. For an example, if you find a cherry red coloration, it indicates towards the carbon monoxide poisoning, while if you see a brick red coloration, it indicates a cyanide poisoning. So, being able to differentiate between a cherry red color and a brick red color is very important for a doctor conducting autopsy. So, it is preferred that the autopsy is conducted during the daylight. But here they have mentioned that an illumination of 80,000 lux is present. What does this mean? What is 80,000 lux? Lux is actually a unit of measurement which tells us the brightness or the intensity of light falling over a given surface area. Right? So 80,000 lux is actually comparable to the direct sunlight that we acquire in the midday, like in a sunny day. The amount of the intensity of the sunlight that a surface area can have, that much intensity of light they have given in the surgical room. One more thing to be noted here is that no shadow lights are actually used in the autopsy room, and also in the surgical rooms when the doctors are performing surgery, those lights are only present. Now what is the use of these no shadow lights? What happens is that there are these small LED lights that are arranged in a circular manner. What do they do? If the doctor is making an incision in the body, his hand should also not cast a shadow over the body, and it is very important to ensure that the hand or any object present in the vicinity does not cast any shadow on the body, or else it can affect the angle of incision, right? And also can distract the doctor. So these small LEDs are arranged in a circular manner in such a way that in whatever angle the doctor has placed his hand, some light will be always present to illuminate the area just beneath his hand, so not causing any shadow. Victim is probably a female. Age is between 30 to 40. See, in order to decode a crime that led to the death of an individual, one has to catch the criminal, right? But in order to catch the criminal, you must identify the victim first and take hints and clues from the victim to reach to the criminal, right? But in cases like these, where the facial features, the skin, the hands, the fingerprints of the victim are all gone, whether they are decomposed, whether they are burnt, whether they are eaten by pets, as in this case, one has to rely on other identifiers, right? Since these features cannot be clicked and put to the database, now one has to do some hard work in order to establish a partial identity of the victim, right? What is an important part is to identify some class characteristics, which includes the gender of a person, which includes the age of a person, the race and the stature of a person. Here in this video, you heard Dhananjay Rajput saying about the age and the gender of the person. How can he tell the gender and age just by some skeletonized remains? Well, it is with the help of these skeletonized remains, with the help of pelvic girdle, with the help of skull, with the help of vertebral column, the sacrum and the long bones, gender of a person can actually be estimated up to a great accuracy, right? These are the bones in the human body that are well differentiated between a male and a female skeleton on some range scale, right? But with huge practice and with high level of observation skills, and by measuring the measurable quantities like the depth or the breadth or the length of certain parts of these bones, we can estimate the gender of an individual to a greater accuracy, right? Now comes the talk of age. Age, as I see, can be divided into three categories. One is the legal age, the age that is mentioned on your legal documents, the Aadhaar card, PAN card or any legally admissible document, that is your legal age, right? Then comes your biological or your chronological age. Now, this biological age is actually from your actual date or time of birth till the day you have been present, right? For some people, this legal age and biological age can be different due to differences in the documentation, right? Then comes an estimated age. Now, after the person dies, the forensic experts, the doctors, they reconstruct the age of the person at the time of death with the help of skeletal remains and with the help of dental remains. So, by actually assessing the degrees of fusion in the different bones, the skeletal age can be estimated, and with the help of Gustafson's index, the dental age can be estimated, and by estimating these two, a probable range of age of the person at the time of death can be given, right? But it is not very easy process, like it's quite a lengthy process, and it requires a lot of expertise and precision for the observation to be correct. Cranial fracture can be seen in an X-ray. Cause of death could probably be a head injury. What did Dhananjay Rajput did just now? What he did was, he actually took the X-ray of the skull of the victim and he saw that there was a cranial fracture in that X-ray. And with the help of that cranial fracture, he estimated that it is a possibility that the brain injury was the cause of a death. So what he is doing is, he is trying to reconstruct the events that might have occurred at the scene of crime that led to the death of this victim. So it is possible that someone hit her head with a strong force that led to a cranial fracture and the brain injury that led to death of that victim. So it is all about reconstructing and trying to reconstruct the events that happened at the time of crime with the help of the evidences present currently. Left foot 1 lateral digit, left hand 2 lateral fingers, and on the right hand 1 index finger is missing. Get the X-ray machine. You know about the X-rays? Well, X-rays helps us in obtaining the images of insides of the body, right? X-rays comprises of a very important part of the external examination. At the time of conducting autopsy, there are two major categories or two major types. One is the external examination and one is the internal examination. So, external examination is conducted without making an incision, just the body is visualized with the help of different light sources, and it is estimated that what the case might indicate, right? And then an internal examination is conducted whereby the body is incised to know about the condition of several organs inside the body. So, at the time of external examination, the X-rays are conducted, which not only helps us in knowing about condition of the bones, like whether there are any healed fractures, whether there are any amputations, whether there are any dislocations, because they can help us at some extent to identify the individual, to give an individual identifier to that person. But the X-rays can also help in locating the presence of some foreign object inside the body. Well, that foreign object can be a bullet. If a person is shot dead, then there is a probability that bullet might be present inside the body, or there can be shots present inside the body, right? Also, there was a case in which beer bottle cap was present inside the head of an individual. So, without making an incision also, X-rays can give a probable idea about the case, about the victim. Have a look at this. Going by the appendages of victim's left hand in laceration, it's clear that it's irregular. Dogs might have done it. But the index finger of the right hand has a sharp injury, a clear cut. It is very clean. What they are trying to do is that they are trying to reconstruct which tool might have been used to actually cause that sharp injury. So they are trying to assess the tool mark from the X-rays. Well, it is an application that can be used. So X-rays can help in assessing which tool or which instrument might have been used to cause that injury. One word they used was, these two appendages are lacerated. What do you mean by laceration? Laceration is actually an irregular wound that is caused on soft tissues. So they are estimating that okay, these two appendages have been lacerated and are not evenly cut. So the one that is cut that is showing cut with a sharp instrument might actually be the tool mark and might actually reveal the modus operandi of the criminal. That is how is the crime reconstructed. So this was a brief discussion about how autopsy is performed. Although this clip only talked about the external examination, I will try and bring up some more clips so that you can understand the process even better. If you like this clip and if you found it informative, do like, share and subscribe to my channel Forensic Science with Aanchal Kapoor. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Ta-da!